Hey everyone, I am back for a second time today. And now I have with me a friend that I met on MSNBC many years ago. We weren't friends then, we became friends from the show called Your Business. I was an expert on the show reviewing these elevator pitches. And Robert, who is the founder of Dibi Dibi, was actually on at that time with a totally different company, concept, project. And we've stayed connected ever since. He's had some roller coaster rides of life and entrepreneurship since then. So welcome, Robert.
Welcome, and thank you for having me, Jen. It's good seeing you and always great to talk to you.
Likewise, you always have amazing energy. You're always so positive and happy. And so we met, as I mentioned, on the set of MSNBC. You were there with a totally different company than we're going to focus later on today. But your journey is a lot like most entrepreneurs. You had some ups and downs, some doubts, some health struggles. So before you became an entrepreneur, give everyone a little bit of backstory. You know, you're based in the Baltimore area, you know, the mindset that you grew up with, what happened, you know, as you became a young adult, and then kind of how you got to where the point is that I met you on MSNBC.
Wonderful. Wow. Well, okay. And before I do that, Jen, I do need to make one statement in reference to us meeting on the set of MSNBC. And I really want your audience to understand this. In life, you meet a lot of people who, you know, they say, hey, I'll stick with you. Give me a call. Let's talk. And a lot of times they never follow through. And what I found in you, Jen, is someone who's genuine. And I remember before we went on set, you mentioned that your bag was sort of an extension of what you really wanted to do in life, and that was to empower people. And I found that so amazing at the time because I'm like, wait a minute, I thought it was her product. But no, you knew you wanted to empower people all of this time. So that product was your vehicle and you followed through on that. And so that's what's been amazing and why I admire you so much is that you are genuine and you are living the dream and doing what you said you were going to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. You know, I feel like when you do say to somebody, hey, let's stay connected, see how I can help you. You're right. A lot of people don't do that. And so when I watch people have not done it to me in my course in life, I remember how that felt. And I get it. People get busy and overwhelmed and stuff. But I really do make a commitment to myself to do my best in doing that. And social media definitely allows us to do it a little bit more effortlessly.
I agree.
Just even to stay connected, like, hey, I see you. I see what you're doing. Right. How can I support? And, you know, it doesn't take that much effort. Again, I get it. Sometimes we're busy and life gets crazy. But for the most part, you know, the more entrepreneurs climb together, the more we can accomplish. So thank you.
And, it kind of brings in that point as well that when I hear people talk about being self-made, you really aren't. You can be self-inspired or self-motivated, but you know, you need folks to help you. You know, you need somebody to buy your product or give you that meeting. So again, I mean, hats off to you. You've always reached out to people and followed through. So again, hats off to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's give everybody a little background on Robert and, you know, where you came from and how you grew up and then how you got to that green room that day that I think was pivotal in your own course of life.
Yes. Well, I'm born and raised here in Baltimore. Mom and dad, I have to say, always supported me as well as my brothers and sister. I was always into something, Jen. And I can recall back when I was in elementary school, I remember back then I was making bottles, Jen, and I was dipping them in paint. And I would take them to school and sell those to the teachers. And so it was just always something entrepreneurial. I knew back then that I had a broader calling in life. And so, you know, I always kind of tended to entrepreneurship and marketing. after college, I went into banking, and I mean, banking was okay, but that was that bigger calling. And
that sounds so boring to me, Robert.
so I've got to give you the backstory. And so that banking career actually was one of the careers that helped me launch into the entrepreneurial field. In that I used to watch women wear sneakers to work, and I designed this bag that was compartmentalized where they could take their carry their sneakers to work, and that's what led me to your business. Because I'd had the bag in stores, but I was looking to take it to the next level. And so I sent Dawn at MSNBC a background and profile on me, and she said, "Hey, sure, come on up." And so being there on the set, meeting you, it was such an amazing culmination of all the stuff that I'd gone through to get there. Projects that failed, and you keep going back to the drawing board. But just to be there meant a lot to me. And quite frankly, Jen, sometimes it's not so much making it; it's that process that grew. And so, as you mentioned before, that initially I came there to launch a tote bag business. And so, I thought that was on a roll. And then about a year later, I get diagnosed with prostate cancer. And
so I want to stop you before you get that part of the story, because that's something I want everyone to really listen to.
Sure.
You said something really profound that I had just listened to one of my mentors say this morning. And it's so in alignment, it's crazy, where, we always are so eager for that manifestation of what we want, that we're not enjoying the process and the journey, and the process and that journey are teaching us, or are able to teach us so much and able to fulfill us so much, that we're not taking all of what we are getting in. We're not receiving all of the beauty in the process, because we're so focused on that manifestation of what that goal is. And it leaves us feeling so empty because we didn't use the process for what it was. And that's really the fulfilling part. But one other thing you said that was really profound, that she used as a reference this morning, was there was this painting, and she said to the person, how long did it take you to do the painting? And the lady was 72 years of age, and she goes, 72 years.
Wow.
And what she was saying is, this painting is the culmination of everything that I am of those 72 years. And if she didn't want it 76, it could be totally different, because that's a different culmination. There's 4 more years of wisdom and layers added to that. And so you really hit that hard, because what you created at that point was the culmination of all you were. And then your journey continued. So I interrupted you at the point where you were diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yes. And I'll go back for just a moment in reference to that process, Jen. That's the learning. If we step back, we can really look at it and say, wow, what did I learn? If you start to extract certain things out of that, it's all a learning process. I'm always amazed with the Wizard of Oz, because Dorothy really had everything she needed at home. But sometimes you have to go on a journey to extract those things, to test your will, to suffer some defeats and setbacks, to really get a feel for who you are and what your makeup is. So the journey is, for some people it sounds cliche, but when you actually go through it, it really makes a difference in how you perceive life from that point forward.
Yeah, well, I believe that entrepreneurship is a journey of self-transformation, because to really be a successful entrepreneur and a fulfilled entrepreneur, you have to be willing to look in the mirror every single day, call yourself out on your limitations, your limited beliefs, your fears, because there's no one you can blame it on. Oh, well, she didn't get to it, and she didn't do it. It always comes down to us at the end of the day. And so every day we have to be stepping up greater than we were the day before. And you're right. Sometimes we have to, look outside of ourselves to the contrast to realize what we needed was always within us anyway.
Yeah. And again, sometimes we're so busy in the process that we don't get a chance to step back and look at the process and admire the process and dissect it to find out, okay, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? But again, as an entrepreneur, your hands are everywhere. You know, you're putting out fires here and you're making calls here. You're all in one. So a lot of times you don't have that time to extract yourself from it and say, okay, what am I doing? And so that's why it's important also to have mentors and friends that can honestly have dialogue with you and say, hey, look, I think you could do this a different way, or this is working. So it's really about having that team in place as well.
Team is so important. I also call your power posse. That's what I call my team. It's not necessarily people that are working in or on my company, but it's people that I can rely on to lift me up, get me unstuck, call me out of my stuff, make a reference or referral to something else, another person or resource that I might need. They're doing it with my best interests at heart. Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. And I also call it the DAT team, the DAT team, which is your dream acquisition team. You need people that can help you get to that next level. And I had this conversation with someone yesterday, Jen. He was asking for a referral to help his business along. And I knew, Jen, that I said, I'm not quite sure you're ready to meet this guy. I will, when you're ready, I will introduce you to him. But, we also have to be very careful and selective at times about how we move people along. I knew my friend wasn't ready to make that move just yet. Mm-hmm. And so to introduce him to this person, my referral would have said, hey, well, look, he's not ready. So it's really important to, when you talk about referring folks, is to make sure we're all ready and have that honest feedback with folks.
Yeah. One of the big things that I do with executive coaching with people is not just educate them, but I introduce them to people that they need to know along the way, but I'll never introduce them until they're ready. And I'll say that to them all the time. I won't introduce you till you're the person that I believe that you need to be in that introduction, or the introduction will probably be a wasted introduction, which then is a waste for you. But then it also looks bad on me that I am wasting somebody else's time that, I know that they respect their time. So you're right. Forcing someone along the process when they're not yet ready can be a waste of time. I'm sure you and I both have stories of people we met along the way and weren't ready yet. It's part of the process. So we learned that lesson.
And I also fall back on the saying that it's an old saying that I heard many, many years ago, but it says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Yes. Right. And so, we really have to make sure that folks are up to par with what they're trying to do before they take it to the next level. Absolutely.
So tell me about this moment in time that many would, find probably one of their hardest times of their lives. You're trying to build this company, you're excited, you're making headway, you're getting momentum, and then you're diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Jen, that was devastating. And I remember getting that news, and it was just, it was one of those things where you say, well, look at all I've been doing, and why in the world would this happen now? And again, that was, I just made the appearance on your business, and, was getting national press, and it was really starting to build. And then this prostate cancer diagnosis comes along. And so that was a, kind of a dark time in that, because I started questioning everything. Whether or not I made the right business moves early in life. And did I eat the right things years ago? You just start going through this self-examination where you question everything. And so that was, for me to put the business down at that point, I knew that I needed to get well. And that's when, I turned to my wife and my two daughters, and they were that support system, as well as my extended family. But that was pretty rough in that I thought I had everything under control. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the business was going well, and I'm like, yes, I've made it. I'm getting there. And so that was quite a setback for me.
That wasn't necessarily part of the plan. because the plan was actually bigger, right?
Yes. Yes.
You know, one of the things that I know you to be is very positive and find the wisdom or the opportunity or the gift, blessing. So while that was a really hard time, it really pushed you to evolve as a human being.
Yes.
To get way more mature beyond where you were in the beginning of that journey. So to go through that a little bit.
Sure. Well, you know, again, I had almost that Jen moment where you mentioned it wasn't so much about the product, it's about helping others and empowering others. And so I get diagnosed with prostate cancer. I go through my treatments, my surgery, and then radiation treatment. And it was on that radiation table, Jen, where I made this promise. I said, God, when I get through this, I'm going to go after all the dreams that I said I was going to go after and really make some things happen. Okay. First day of treatment, I say that. Next thing you know, it's 2 years later and I'm doing nothing in terms of following my dreams. And then one night, one restless night, I was awake and I heard this inner voice, and it said, Dibi Dibi. And I immediately went to my nightstand and grabbed a piece of paper and I said, Dibi Dibi, what does this stand for? And it said, dream it, believe it, do it, be it. And it was a moment where I got called out on a dream that I didn't, and a promise that I didn't fulfill. I said I was going to go after these dreams and goals and I didn't. And I think, quite frankly, it was God telling me like, okay, you came through this prostate cancer. I've got bigger plans for you to help a larger community rather than just my bag. And so that's how Dibi Dibi was born. The next day I had somebody put it on a shirt and, you know, went to the gym and people started commenting on the shirt. And so it really became a movement, Jen, to empower other people to follow their dreams. And so that's why I think the message has resonated so much, because when you talk to people about their dreams and you say, well, look, if all your bills are paid, got money to live off of, and you ask them, okay, what would you do? And they start talking about their childhood dreams or things that they want to do. And it just, when you look in their eyes, I'm like, okay, they get the message. And so that's why I think Dibi Dibi is having such an impact that I thought would have happened with my bag business, but this is what the plan is.
I got it immediately. I saw the first time you put something on Facebook, I was like, yes, that's awesome. Just to like spell it out for people again, in case they missed it, it's DIBI, new word, DIBI. Dream it, believe it, do it, be it. And it's just so obvious. So what this has really become is not, you know, t-shirts and hats, but it's a true movement. It's a culture and a community for entrepreneurs, holding each other accountable, lifting each other up, encouraging them, giving them resources along the way. And, you know, you were at the Jumpstart Connect store with us in New York City, which our whole mission is #empower entrepreneurs. So your brand is one of those tools and vehicles and brands that empowers entrepreneurs, because quite honestly, like I could teach people email marketing campaigns and social media campaigns, but unless I'm really believing it, and let me going back to the first D, unless I'm really dreaming and envisioning something bigger than what's in my current state, and then I'm believing that I'm capable and worthy of having it, and then I'm actually taking action, and then I'm embodying what it is, it's not going to happen. So those are the 4 key steps to it that most people don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, you hit it on the head. I mean, you know, again, you went through it. Excellent. To dream it, the believing, and the belief part, you know, a lot of people fall short on that because you've had so many negative experiences in the past. But you know, you dream it, you believe it. But the other thing is the part about doing it. And that's where a lot of people fall short, because that's where the rubber meets the road. I always say to my faith community, I said, you know, faith without works is dead. So you can believe in it, you can dream it, but if you're not out there doing it, it's not going to manifest itself. And then the ultimate is to be it. And the be it stage doesn't say I've made it, I'm good, it's all about me. that's the stage where you begin to give back because you've gone through various experiences, and it's about giving back. When you leave this earth, you want to pass something along, whether it's to your family or friends, but you want to impart some knowledge on the folks who are coming behind you. So it kind of dovetails back to what I was saying earlier about self-made, in that even through this Dibi Dibi process, there are so many people that contribute to your success along the way. So when you get to that be it stage, it's about giving back and showing others the way.
Agreed, completely. Just want to give a shout out to Mia Rederick, who's on the live with us. Mia is a Baltimore girl. That's what I was speaking for in Baltimore when I was just there. So you guys are kind of neighbors. And Inez, who's on here, thanks, honey. She gave me a shout out for my mentoring. So, where do you see this going next? Because this is still on its newer stage of evolution. It's kind of growing faster than you expected. I'm like way pushing you along the way in encouragement of this is a community. It's a culture.
Yes.
So where can people find you? How can people get product to be like walking, talking billboards like you were? So when you wear these shirts, it's true. People will see it and be like, yes, it's a conversation starter. Yes. It's a conversation starter. Like, here's my tribe. You're part of my tribe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, to answer your question, the products can be sold at or found at dibidibination.com. That's DIBIDIBI nation.com. And so the hats are there, the Dibi Dibi bracelets are there, the caps, the shirts. And so where do I see this going?
Wait a second, before you say that, I'm going to mention that this is a great idea for a gift for people in your life that are the dreamers.
Yes.
Any entrepreneur that you know, anyone who's aspiring to be an entrepreneur and hasn't taken the chance yet. This is like such an incredible gift. It's unique. But it's one of those gifts that just resonates at the core with those dreamers and believers.
Totally. Thank you, Jen. I totally agree. And, earlier you mentioned about a movement. And I got to tell you, there have been times when I say, am I ready to lead this movement? It's a different thing to lead a product. Mm-hmm. But then when you're talking about a movement, you're talking about leading people. And that's huge.
And exciting. And so excited.
So in terms of a movement, what I've done over the last year or two, we've had Dibi Dibi events where we bring entrepreneurs together to share ideas. We typically have a recycle bin at the front door because we don't want anybody coming in with the ego. This is all about being vulnerable to share. Now, some dreams aren't made for sharing at a particular time, so we get that. But those who can share a dream, we ask that you come in and we try to pair people with people who can get you to that next level. And we ask folks who are there that if somebody's not honestly ready to be there yet or get to that next level, to tell them, but work with them, to groom them. So the Dibi Dibi events have been great in terms of getting people together. I've had people ask to do one in Tennessee and Seattle and California. So it's gratifying to know that folks like the idea and they wanted to bring it to different places around the country. And so that,
mastermind, right? Like it's a mastermind platform. Yeah, absolutely. You know what else? I just spoke at St. Joe's University last week, and I speak at universities a lot. But these cultures that are really taken on a life of their own in their entrepreneurship groups, and they're all student run, are a great alignment for you as well. It's just, these college students, it's just mind blowing to me. When I was in college, I was like, where is the party on Friday? Like I was not doing what these guys are doing. They are like masterminding and building companies and just taking so much initiative around the world of entrepreneurship, which would be another great alignment of these organizations to kind of carry on this Dibi Dibi philosophy.
Well, Jen, I also think that, what we're seeing is the expression of dreams. Yeah. They have the technology now to make them come true. I was listening to something on the radio earlier, Taylor Swift, and they were talking about this new video that came out, and and how she did all of this on her iPhone. So we have all the technology at our hands. Yeah. So I think that's why we're starting to see so many people today, particularly the younger generation. They say, well, we've got everything here. We don't need an expensive.
Yeah. It's really amazing. More. We lost you for a second. You froze on us.
How about now?
Okay, you're good. I was kind of interrupting just because you were frozen, and I wanted to keep the dialogue going, but I was mentioning that there's more 14-year-old millionaires now than I've ever been before, and many of them are doing that on online companies, specifically Snapchat and Instagram companies. Like, they're not even building a website. They just have like an Instagram page, and they're selling stuff. Maybe they're making it, maybe they're, buying it and selling it and positioning it to their audience. But yeah, there's just technology has changed the game and what we're capable of doing. And, when I started my first business in 1995, entrepreneurship was not cool. Like, people thought you were not employable. They were like, oh, yeah. Did you create a job for yourself? So now it's cool. And we get how powerful it is and how much it drives the economy. And I was saying to the students the other night at St. Joe's, one of the most powerful tools that you have that has been squashed and stolen from you in school early on, and maybe even from your parents, is your imagination.
Yes.
It is such a powerful tool. And if we would just use that and go there more often and sit in these expansive thoughts, we could create more. I mean, like Walt Disney, that was the whole thing, right? You got to dream it in order to achieve it. Like, you got to dream it first. You can't achieve something you haven't dreamt about.
Well, Jim, we have become to use the Disney analogy in movies and all. We edit our dreams because when you think about it, when we dream, it's unedited. I mean, stuff doesn't make sense. You're doing something weird and crazy. But that's when we step in and start editing and say, well, I know I couldn't do this, or that's too big for me to ever dream of attaining. And so we start imposing our self-limiting edits on dreams that are meant to be big. Yeah. And so we become the editor with our red pens and scratching out things that should be there.
Yeah. So I always say I'm not going to let someone else's self-limited beliefs become mine, but often people's self-limited beliefs stop them before someone else's self-limited beliefs do.
Exactly.
Which is unfortunate. We really do have these editors. My favorite is, well, I don't want to let myself down. And I always laugh, like, you already left yourself down. You just let yourself down now. Like, right. You just made your fear your reality without even trying, which is crazy. So,
well, and again, sometimes, particularly with entrepreneurship, folks look at you like, okay, somebody, they're not responsible. They're willy-nilly. They're capricious. They're doing all of these things. And so I think for those entrepreneurs that are out there that aren't going after their dreams, they're listening to so much feedback that's coming in that says, you need to go the traditional route. Yeah. Do your 9 to 5. And a lot of times we're answering to our parents to say, okay, my mom, I was good at this as a kid. And my mom and dad say, well, I need to go get a job. And so, and you've seen a lot of my posts with my daughters.
Yeah.
I involve them with my dream. I tell them what am I doing and how it's going to impact the family. But what I also add, Jen, and I think we really need to stress this, is that when you share your dreams with your family, there is a period of sacrifice. And what I try to do with my girls, if I'm working on a project, I try to estimate, okay, I need to devote X amount of time to this. And after that, I'm free. Because if you continue to go over deadlines and neglect your family, they're going to get this sense that, oh, okay, either dad's not doing what he's supposed to do, he's not managing his time, or this is just some kind of willy-nilly idea he came up with. So when we make the sacrifice, we have to commit to it to say, okay, after this time frame, I'm able to hang out with my family, or if I'm writing a book or whatever, which I'm working on now, that, okay, I'm free now. Put that to the side. So our kids and our families really can also help us be accountable to what we're working on.
I love that. I love that you just, said they can create an accountability deadline, because as entrepreneurs, sometimes it's like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow, because we're not really answering to somebody per se. Exactly. Not all the time anyway. So you can make things go longer than they really need to or should be going. Yeah. I think it's so important getting our kids involved too. When my kids talk about money a lot now, because they're teenagers, so they want to all the time. And so that, I put boundaries on that of, all right, well, when are you want that? That's something you're going to have to pay for yourself. But I'm very careful. I don't tell them to get a job ever. I say create something. Create something. I don't want you getting a job. Even if you're babysitting, I want you to think about how to create that as a career, even if it's not for the rest of your life. But you get all these babysitting jobs and you can't go to them. Find other babysitters that you can outsource to these people. That's a career. That's a company, not just a babysitting job. And I think it's something so powerful that kids are born entrepreneurs. So if we could just empower them with the thought process of, take your ideas and create something. I gave my daughter an idea, and I'm kind of sharing because it's a big idea, so I don't think too many people are going to run with it. I'm even a little intimidated by it, which doesn't happen. But when I said to my daughter, Madison, I said, there's more 14-year-old millionaires than there's ever been before. And she said, well, how are they making all their money? And I said, most of them are making their money on the internet. They're creating a niche. They're finding an opportunity, something that's like a problem that's not being solved. They're, maybe selling products that didn't exist before. They're selling them in a different way, or they're selling them to a different market. And I said, so if you want to become a millionaire, start to think of like, what problem can I solve and how can I do it online? So not even 5 minutes, she looks at me, she goes, well, Mom, there's no company that has makeup, hair accessories, and like nail polish stuff, like all nail care stuff together under one roof for teenagers. And I was like, well, there's Sephora. She goes, well, that's not for kids. That's not for teenagers. That's for grown-ups, and it's too expensive. And I'm like, wait, so there's nothing like, there's no one brand that you and your friends are like, yeah, that's the go-to brand for all like beauty care? And they're like, she's like, no. And I'm like, now that's $1 billion. That's like, $1 billion idea. There's $1 billion idea. Like, it's mind-blowing to me how I gave her a suggestion. I said, solve a problem. And within 5 minutes, her brain to do it, because they are born without these editing. We project the editor on them. Their peers on them. She was editor free and just came right to me. I was like, wow, holy cow, that's huge. So I want to be respectful of your time. I think I love chatting with you and riffing about entrepreneur life and mindset. I would love to just kind of encourage this conversation a little bit more about, people who might want to have their own Dibi Dibi mastermind groups in their areas that, really could really start this conversation to go even bigger. We talk about the kids are doing it. More adults need to do it and stop making the excuse about security. There really is no security in the job anyway. I mean, let's be honest, there's industries that are eradicated every day right now because technology is taking over each different industry and changing it tremendously. So how do people reach out to you, find out more about Dibi Dibi, whether it's the product lines they want to carry and support, whether they want to create their own mastermind group? How do they get in touch with you?
Sure, they can reach me. Well, the website again is www.dibidibination.com. You can reach me directly via email at robert@dibidibination.com. And I'll be more than happy to talk to you about having a Dibi Dibi mastermind group in your area. and encouraging people to live out their dreams, because I think a lot of times people worry about somebody stealing their idea or doing something before them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Everybody is gifted with a certain set of talents that are specifically for you. And so my thing is imagine a world where we're all working within our purpose, our passion, and you have those two together, and we all are powerful. So please feel free to read either at my direct email address, robert@dibidibination.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And
it's been a pleasure, Jen.
Again, by the way, to everyone listening, perfect suggestion for holiday gifts coming up. Anyone in your life that is an entrepreneur or wants to be an entrepreneur, it's just it's like you become a walking billboard, and it's fun. It's a conversation starter, and you can find your tribe that way. It's kind of like
there you are,
being a lighthouse for your tribe.
I like that.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. Thanks so much, Robert. Always great to see you and riff on entrepreneurship. And thanks everyone for joining us today.
Take care. Dibi Dibi, everyone.
Dibi Dibi. Bye.
Bye.